Harsh, we are live. You can start in next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Harsh, I think we can start now.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for months now, and as well as those of you who are new to the community. NEEV, the Whirlwind of Tech, is an initiative from our side which introduces a series of 9 distinct events that compromises to build a foundation for the knowledge of any specific domain. NEEV, which means foundation, that is the underlying principle of your whole structure. We bring you these various events that will pose as a foundation to our advanced knowledge in the future. It's no secret that if your basics are clear, there is nothing in it that you cannot understand. This initiative by us helps to take the first step to achieve clarity to make your foundation strong. Now let's jump to the today's topic. I will say it with utmost proud that we have succeeded our limits. We have succeeded our domains in order to make learning for you easier. Today we are going to start with Linux, where we will learn the operating system that the whole world is keen to learn with the best teachers and enhance your skill set like no one else. I guess this was enough to have you guys started. Now we can begin with our first session of Linux. I would like to hand over the session to Kshitij Sani, who is the mentor of the course. Over to you, Kshitij.
Thank you, Harsh, for the introduction. First of all, I would like all the participants to tell me in the chat itself what is Linux. What do they understand? What is Linux exactly? So please, can you answer in the chat session so that I can give further understanding about Linux? So as I see, most of you have answered that Linux is an operating system, but Sarthak has answered it right. Linux is not an operating system. Linux is a kernel. So let us go and understand what a kernel is. Kernel is a part of the operating system which connects the hardware and performs every task. It connects the hardware with the software. Operating system is a software that helps to uh, perform the operating system tasks, but kernel is the part which connects directly with the hardware part. Considering so let me share my screen and then I can show you better. Guys, is my paint screen visible? If it is visible, I can continue. Please reply in the comment section. Okay, as my screen is visible, so let us continue further. What is Linux? So if we consider it as an operating system, so operating system has major three parts. First part of this is an operating system. So dividing the operating system further, we have three major parts. First, second, and third. So at the base of the operating system lies our kernel, and kernel connects with the hardware. Then come the operating system libraries. You will get to know about operating system libraries soon. And above the libraries lies the applications. Operating system can have various applications, so the operating system is divided according to the part of the applications, and the applications take the help of libraries. Libraries help the operating system to perform the application task, and kernel is the base of the operating system, which helps the operating system to connect with the hardware. So what is the role of kernel? Let us also understand that what is the role of a kernel. So what kernel do? Kernel is used. Kernel is the first of all. Kernel is the core of any operating system. Further, kernel deals with the hardware. Third, kernel helps to load the drivers. Sometimes the issue may come when you face the issues like the sound driver does not load or some other driver, camera driver does not load. So it is because the kernel is not able to connect with the hardware and the driver are not loaded in the kernel. So it is the issue of the kernel, not the issue of your operating system. And kernel also limits the resources. As there are multiple programs running in the operating system, so it is it is the work of the kernel to divide the resources among different applications which we are using. So let us proceed further and understand a different type of kernels available in the market. Coming to different type of kernels available, so there are basically three main type of kernels available in the market today. First of all comes the Microsoft kernel, which is also known as NT. Microsoft kernel is used in Microsoft Windows. Further, coming to the Linux, which is used in Linux-based operating systems. And third come the Darwin, which is for Mac-based devices, Apple devices. Dividing the Linux kernel further, we have two major branches in the Linux kernel itself, and the two branches in the Linux kernel are Debian based and RPM based. RPM is Red Hat Package Manager, RPM based kernel and Debian based. So these are the two major distribution of Linux kernel. Under the Debian based kernel, we have various different flavors like Ubuntu, Debian, Mint, Kali, and Boss OS. There are also various other. What is the kernel name for Windows? Kernel name for Windows is NT. As guess there is a question in the chat section. So the kernel name for Windows is NT. Coming on to the RPM based operating system. So RPM based operating system are RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, Fedora, Cloud Linux, Oracle Linux, etc. So these are different type of kernels available in the market, and these are the three which occupy the major of the market today. So considering where is Linux used, Linux is everywhere in the today's world, be it the Android. You will be surprised to know that the Android is based on the Linux kernel, and Linux is also present in the PlayStation that we use, like Nintendo, and even Linux is used in national space centers, in our routers, in our smart TVs. And there is a major conflict in the word open source and free to use. Linux is an open source operating system. That does not mean all the distribution under Linux are free to use. Open source means that the code is available to us. Source code is available to us free of cost. For example, considering the example of Red Hat. Red Hat Enterprise Linux is a operating system which is not free to use. It is a paid software, but it is an open source operating system. It is an open source operating system. So open source means that the code is available to us. Open source means and source code is available of first. So this is the main difference between open source and free to use. So for the process of the training, we are going to use Fedora, Linux. So why we are going to use Fedora? It is when it comes to industry, Red Hat Enterprise Linux (RHEL) is the most used operating system, but it is a paid version. So its upstream is Fedora. Fedora is the upstream for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It is exactly same as Linux, but it is the phase which is developed first, and it is the most updated version for the Linux. RHEL based Linux. So we are going to use Fedora for the course. The installation for the Fedora can be done in via external boot, via VMware, or via dual boot. You can use any of the installation method, and we will be using Fedora 32. The system requirement for the VM is 2 GB of RAM, 1 core CPU, and 25 to 50 GB of hard disk. I think you have received the operating system installation tutorial in the WhatsApp group. So I will not be proceeding with the installation part. You can continue the installation even after the session. Let us proceed with the main topic. Prajwal Singh asked that I have Ubuntu. Do I need to install Fedora? No, as such, you need not to install Fedora. And but there are some concepts that you would like to change according to the Fedora and the and Ubuntu. There are something that will be different, some in the file concepts. So you can also use Ubuntu, but you need to figure out the concepts. I will not be teaching on Ubuntu. To keep us on the same track, if you go with the CentOS or Fedora, both are best. So let us start. Let me start the Fedora operating system. Is my screen visible? If it is visible, I can continue. I am powering on the machine. You can do the same simultaneously, or you can do after the session. The recording will be available with you. Okay, I am starting the operating system and the screen is visible as I have received the comments. Guys, wait for 2 minutes. My operating system is loading up. Why is Linux more secure than Windows? Is there a difference between the terminal in Windows and Linux? As such, there is no difference between the terminal in Windows and Linux. It is the best. It is only the commands that are present in Linux are not present in the Windows. What is happening? I don't know. The timing for the session is ideally 1 hour. but we can extend it to 1 hour 15 to 20, 15 or 20 minutes depending on the topic that is covered in the session. So coming to Safua's question, Sudafua's question, Fedora is open source and free to use. Which one and free to use and which one under open source? Yes, Fedora is open source and free to use both. Fedora is both open source and free to use. Yes, Mithali, if I'm pronouncing the name correct, you can use. Okay, let me also tell you an alternative. If you do not have operating system installed in your device, and if you have a slow system, you can use a lab. It is a called Catacoda. Catacoda Linux. Search for Catacoda Linux, and you will have a Linux playground. Open the Linux playground, and you can also do the same practicals on the labs here, but it will not be stored in your computer as the session will be destroyed every time you finish. So you can sign up and use the labs similarly. And the Ubuntu playground is also available without sign-in. Let me show you the Ubuntu playground. This is the Ubuntu playground, and they prepare a Docker environment for us. We will also inform you about Docker in our upcoming sessions. So you can also use the operating system in the Ubuntu playground if you think you do not have enough to support the device. So I will be uh, moving further with Fedora operating system. It is loading. So if you have any questions till then, you can ask. What are the good resources to learn Linux? We are telling you all the basic about Linux. Further, if you need any guidance, you can ask on the WhatsApp group and we will inform you all about the resources to learn Linux. Most of the Linux will be considered in our live session only. Is the screen now clear? I have zoomed into the screen. If it is not clear for you before, Bhavika, is the screen now clear? So first of all, let us know about the Linux kernel. There are two type of users in the operating system. Means can I practice the session at Ubuntu Catacoda? Yes, you can also practice the session at the Ubuntu Catacoda. Guinea, you can also practice at Ubuntu Catacoda. But to keep you in sync with the sessions, it is best to have Fedora operating system installed in your device. So let me continue sometime on the Ubuntu Catacoda, then we will move further to the Fedora till the time it boots up. So considering some of the knowledge about the operating system, there are two types of user that are present in our Linux operating system. Users in Linux operating system. So there are basically two major type of users present in our Linux operating system. First one is the standard user. And second one is the root user or pseudo user. So sudo, we can also consider sudo user as administrator in our Windows. Administrator user has all the powers and it can perform everything. For a standard user to perform any task or perform any installation task, it needs the permission from the root user or the sudo user first. So latest, can you guys, if any one of you know, what is the latest kernel version of the Linux operating system? It is a question for you. I will also answer the question. If anyone of you know, can you please reply in the comment section? Yes, 5.7 is the latest version of Linux kernel. I think most of you are aware about it. It is nice to have. Okay, please share the link of Katacoda. I am sharing the link for the Katacoda. I have shared the link in the chat section also. It will be available in your respective WhatsApp groups. So my device is booted up. So as you see, there are various users present. These are the standard users. If I go for the root user, I need to go not listed. Here I have to select not listed, and I have to type the username root. Then further I have to type my password, which I have set up during the installation time, and I log into my operating system. So this is the main thing, how to log in into your root. Can we use Amazon AWS EC2 instance? Yes, we can also use Amazon EC2 instance. These are all different providers. Katacoda is a Linux provider, and Amazon is also Linux. We are basically working on Linux, so you can perform you can use any of the operating system and any of the provider for that. So there are two types of interacting ways that are present with us. So one is how to interact with Linux kernel. So now coming on the interaction part, how to interact with Linux OS. So there are two ways that are available for us to interact with our Linux operating system. One is the GUI based way, GUI, which means graphical user interface, and another one is CLI. So as my operating system Fedora is booted up, so I can perform any of the tasks with the GUI. For example, I am opening Firefox. So I can click here and the Firefox opens. And it is the GUI way. Most of us know Windows and use Windows. So we are mainly using the GUI. Then you ask the question, if everything is possible with GUI, then why we should use CLI or command line interface approach? This is a good question. And the answer for it is that while using GUI or CLI, the command which is used, for example, I have opened the Firefox from GUI. Now, if I type the command of the Firefox in the terminal, for example, I'm opening the terminal and I am typing the command Firefox. It will do the same thing which I did and clicked on the GUI. So behind every GUI, there is a command which is running. It is the same as I did by clicking an
Please
icon.
zoom this.
Siddharth, is it okay now?
Actually, the screen is not visible. If you can zoom it a little bit more.
Is my terminal visible? The main focus is on the terminal, not on the. Is my terminal visible for to everyone? Can you please let me know in the comment section so that I can proceed further?
Actually, it is not clear actually.
For clear, you need to go and increase the quality to 720p. I think under the 480 and 360p, the quality will not be as good. So the command for Firefox is the Firefox command, and for every GUI operation that we are performing, there is a CLI command present behind the GUI command. And GUI or CLI is only a method to execute. We can use any of the method, but when it comes to server and instances like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, they only provide us with the CLI part. So it is mainly for the developers to use the CLI part. Some of the basic command of Linux, let me show you some of the basic. CAL is a command for the Linux which gives the calendar for the current month. Cal command gives the calendar for the current month. And if we wish to see the calendar for a year, then cal 2020, it will show the calendar for the world 2020. And if I wish to see the calendar for December month, so cal 12 2020, so it will show the calendar for December month. So cal is a basic command which we are going to use in Linux various times. And date is the command, another command which returns the date, current date and time. So this is the current date and time of my operating system. Clear is a command that helps us clear the terminal screen so that everything that which were Ritik Singh, can you tell me you are not using Red Hat Linux? Ritik Singh, actually the Red Hat Linux is a paid software. So if you wish to use Red Hat Linux, you can also use the Red Hat Linux, but the concept of Red Hat Linux and Fedora are similar. Uh, Also, there are various commands present in the Linux, so it is not possible for us to to show you every command. So there is a help command available for every command. For example, if I type clear and I want to know what clear does, I can provide an additional option minus minus help, which will show what the command does. Okay, for it is not present, so I will use man command also. Man command is also there. So which shows you that description of the command, the options which are present for the command, and also some fun facts about it. You can see it, and after you have seen the result, you can press Q to quit and return to the terminal. There are also various commands for which the help option is present. You can also use the help option. You can also use the info option. These are the three different options to see the help of any command. Like info is also the similar as man, help is also similar, and there are some of the differences. What is 571, 572, 573 in the prompt? This is the sum of the customer terminal. So I have set it according to me. You can also set it according to you. I will be explaining you how to set the terminal according to your need. For example, my terminal is showing the time, and then the this, and then the command number which are present. This is the command number which I have done in the operating system. So let us understand the file system in the Linux file system. Most of you should be aware about the Windows file system that is present. So I am explaining the Linux file system in comparison to the Windows file system. First of all, file system is used to store and create data. And data is the most important part that we are using the computer for. So Linux file system or the Windows file system is only based on the type which we are using. Comparing the Linux file system with Windows file system, Windows and Windows on one hand and Linux on the other end. So there is a C drive which is present in the Windows, and alternative for the C drive which is present in the Windows is the slash directory. Why it is not typing here? Is a slash directory in Linux. You can see, I can open the file explorer and show you the exact thing. So there are various drives present in the operating system in which our operating system is installed. For example, when you see my PC, there is a local disk C, and this is the main drive where the operating system is installed. So in the Windows, the C drive, and in the Linux operating system, there is a slash drive which in which the operating system is installed, and inside the C drive, there is a folder termed as user, and it contains all the users present in the operating system. In slash, we have a folder called home, and home contains the all the users present in our Linux operating system. And there is a question which is frequently asked in interviews and various of the sessions, that if we need to back up a user, what should we do if we need to make the backup for the whole user? So if you are in Windows operating system, you can back up the user folder, and the user folder contain various user. For example, mine, I am Kshitij, so it will contain Kshitij user, and here it also will contain Kshitij user, and I want to back up data for the Kshitij user. So I will go to C, I will enter the users directory, I will enter the Kshitij directory, and I will back up all the content present in this. So it will automatically back up all the contents which are present in the user. So to back up a user, we can back up the user's home directory, and that's all that we need to do for creating a backup for the user. And every user in Linux has its home directory in the home folder, and which is under the slash directory. So if there are multiple user, then there will be like dot question mark is user. So the location for the dot question mark user will be slash home dot question mark, and location for the Kshitij user will be slash home Kshitij. Also, for there is a folder in the Windows which is also known as system32 folder. Must have seen it in your C directory. So system32 folder contains the internal commands and information about the operating system. Comparing it to the Linux, Linux has a bin folder which contains all the internal commands and the files. So the path for the Kshitij user in Windows will be C slash user slash Kshitij. And for the Linux operating system, the path for the Kshitij user will be slash home slash Kshitij. So you must have seen that there is a something common when we come. Wait a minute, let me show you. There is this slash and there is this slash also. So what is the difference between the two slash? First slash in the Linux operating system is the root directory. It is also known as root. So the first slash is the root directory, and then further comes the separator. Like this is a separator, this is also a separator, and the first slash used in the Linux, it is not a separator, but it is the root directory. And I think I have told you before that root user is not listed in the login screen, and you have to use the root user. You have to specify that you want to log in with the root user. Continuing further with the session. So and there is also admin user in Linux and administrator user in the Windows. Administrator user in the Windows is stored under the same directory C slash user slash administrator. administrator. So this is the path for the administrator user in Linux. But when it's come to Linux operating system, we have a dedicated path for the root user, and that path is slash root. We have dedicated folder for the root operating system and root user, administrator user in the Linux, and that is slash root. So C user administrator can be compared with slash root when it comes to Linux. Continuing further, if we want to know the directory which we are present in, for example, I am logged in as the root user, so I want to know which directory I am currently in. I can use the command pwd in my Linux operating system to let me know which is my current working directory. I don't know, there is some issue with the. It is working slow, so I am using the Catacoda library, and you can also perform pwd command, which will tell us which is my directory. For example, it is root directory. So I am a root user present in the operating system. And ls command will show which is the files and folders which are present in the current directory. For example, there is no file present in the current directory. Let me create a directory or a folder. Mkdir is the command for creating a directory, and after typing mkdir, I will type space and I will type a directory name, test. Now when I perform the ls command, which lists the files which are present in the current working directory, and it shows me test. If I create a file, for example, I am using touch command. Touch command is used to create a file. And if I ls, there is a file and there is a test folder. You can see the difference between the file and test, file and folder. For example, file is colored in white and the folder is colored in test, but it is not the main difference. We can use ls minus a command. Minus a shows all the information about the files and directory. Minus a shows all the files. Minus al, l is a list. So d in the beginning is a directory, and minus in the beginning is a file. So this double dot is a directory, double dot is a directory, dot bash rc is a file, dot cache is a directory, file is a file, and the test for that folder we have created is a directory. Nishit, I know how to redirect input to the Fedora VM, but it is not working as of some of the difference in the operating system which I am using as of today. So I think you are familiar with the operating system concepts which I was going to tell you. The task for you, what is the work of .bash rc file? We will get to know the work of .bash rc file soon. First of all, you need to get yourself understand with the basic concept of the Linux. We will also show you the use of .bash rc file. Let me clear my screen. And there is a question which many of you have asked: what is the actual difference between admin and standard user? So the actual difference between the admin and standard user in an operating system is the permissions and power we have given to the user. For example, a non-admin user cannot install any software into the operating system, or if he is allowed to install the software is limited to the user itself, and none of the other user is able to access the software. And also, if I am with a non-root user, then I will not be able to access certain files. For example, if let me show you. I am creating a user. I will let you know the concepts again. SEO test. Okay. I will need to set the password. I think the catacoda is not providing me enough permission to create a user, so let me try it in my operating system. I am sharing the operating system with you. Let me try it on my another VM. Sorry, this VM is not working with the Fedora. I am using another VM for now. There is some issue with the VM. Let me use RHEL. Coming further to our session, the touch command is used to create a file, rm command is used to remove a file, and there are also various of the commands which are present. Let me show you if my VM starts. There is actually no difference between Red Hat, Linux, and the Fedora and CentOS, so you can use any of the operating system. Also, there is a task for you all guys for today. When we did the ls command shows us the difference between the file and a directory by showing the difference in the color. I want all of you to search in the Google. If we remove the color coding, which I will show you, I will remove the color coding and you will tell me what is the difference between a file and a folder present. On the basis of the color, you will not be able to differentiate between the file and the folder. So you will research of one of the concept. What is the actual difference between a file and a folder in the Linux operating system? And I am going to tell you an interesting fact that everything is file in Linux. So I need all of you to look for how everything is file in Linux and how Linux maintains the file system. It is a task for you, all of you guys. Yes, Vidit, inode table is present. Inode table is a concept which you are aware about. I want everyone else to look for the thing. So as I told you, there are three ways to find help for any command, that is man, minus minus help, and info. There is also another command present in the operating system which gives us the one-line description of the command, and that is what is. What is command in the operating system? There is a command which is what is, and then we type the command name, and it gives a one-line description of the what of the command. So if you are not willing to look for the whole thing, you can also use the what is command for one-line information. I think the file that starts with minus is a file and the name that starts with D is a directory. Yes, this is the concept I have told you, that start with minus is a file and with D is a directory. But what is the actual concept behind what is how Linux is differentiating between a file and a directory? I want you to research on that. Also, I wish to show you practical basics of some of the commands, and my system is booted up. Is my terminal clear to you now? As so there was a query for one of you that this terminal is not clearly visible. Is it clear, terminal? Is my terminal clear? Can you please tell me in the chat session? Okay, okay. So let me show you the commands which we have practiced till now, so that you can revise them. So cal is the command for the calculator. Sorry, calendar. Date is the command for showing the date and time. Suppose we want to return the current time only and we do not want anything else. So we can use the command date plus percent t. So it returns only the time. Date plus percent y returns only the current year. Date plus percent a returns the current day only. But you need to be not to be aware about everything, as the man pages or the info command is always present for the every command in the Linux operating system. So you can use that. Clear command is for clearing the screen in the operating system. Which command? Which command tells you the path of the command? Which date? It will tell where the date command is present in the operating system. Mkdir is a command to create a new folder or a directory. Mkdir test. So it will create a new folder named test. And when I use ls, there is a test folder present in the operating system. Rmdir is a command to delete a directory, but it is only used to delete a empty directory. If there is some content in the directory, it will not be able to delete the directory. Rmdir test. So it is able to delete the directory. But if I create a directory, like I am creating the directory test, and I am changing the directory to test and creating a file in it. I'm moving back to the main folder, and if I try to remove, I am lsing. The directory is present, and if I try to remove the directory now, rmdir test, it said fail to remove the directory as it is not empty. So it is the problem of the operating system. Not only the Linux operating system, it is the issue in every operating system that it cannot delete a directory unless it is empty. We will get to know about the concept tomorrow, where we will be discussing more about the copy, move, delete process, and you will get to know why a direct empty directory is only deleted and not a directory filled with any of the thing is not deleted. Let me also show you what is command. For example, we saw the man command. Man date will show you the word description about a command. And suppose I want to know the basic description and not everything about the command, so I can use the command which is what is date. So it's just showing me one line description about the command. The pwd command will show you the current working directory. The ls command will show you the files present, and the cd command is used to change the directory. For example, I want to switch to downloads. I am cding to downloads. Enter, and I am inside the downloads folder. If I want to change my directory back, cd double dot, so it will go back to the previous directory. Dot is a pointer and double dot is a pointer in Linux. Dot points to the current directory and double dot points to the previous directory or the parent directory. I think I have shown you most of the commands that we have covered today. And to remove a file, like to remove a folder, we have a command called rmdir. So to remove a file, we have a command known as rm command. Let me create a file for that. Touch file, and if we see, file is present, and if we want to remove the file, we can use rm file. It is asking me if I want to delete the file. I will type yes. If I want to delete, I press enter. The file will be deleted. And if I want to see if the file is deleted and I want to see the process with it, so I will use option with rm command. For example, let me create a file again, and if I want to see the processing So I will type rm minus v. Minus v stands for verbose, and in the verbose option we can also see the visual output of the command. Rm minus v file I want to delete. So it said remove the file, which the rm command didn't show. And if I want to forcefully delete a file and I do not want every time the operating system asks for the yes or no thing, so we can use the rm minus f. Minus f means forcefully remove the file. Rm minus f and file name. So it has deleted the file without asking the prompt to me. I will share the paint screen with you, which I have where I have performed all the tasks today. I will create a file and share it in the WhatsApp group. Also, if you have any of the issues of this today's session, you can ask in the chat session, and we can end the session. Tomorrow we will have the session at same time where we will be discussing about the further concepts. Today is the basic session, so I am finishing the session a little earlier. Tomorrow's topic that we will cover are removing, copying, moving, and renaming a file, Vim, which is a text editor, and some of the facts about Linux. What use of PWD? PWD, the full form of PWD is present working directory, and PWD shows us the location of the current directory which we are in. Anything else? If someone want to ask, we are open for the Q&A session. What is the use of hard link and soft link? Hard link and soft link is we will show you. You will get to know about hard link and soft link. Guinea Sachdeva CD double dot is not working in Ubuntu. CD double dot, you need to provide space between CD and double dot. Then only it will work. It will work on Ubuntu, on Fedora, on any Linux operating system. But you need to type the syntax correct. CD space double dot is the correct syntax. As Priya, what is minus V? Minus V stand for verbose, and it visually outputs what is happening in the operating system. For example, if I am removing a file with minus V, then it is showing removed file. But if I remove the file without minus V, it will delete the file and it will not prompt any output. Instead of minus f, can we use minus y? Minus y is also for different option. We can use minus y, but you can see the man command and see what is minus y for. For example, let me show you. If I man rm and see the options present in it. So minus f is for force, minus I is there, minus v is verbose, and there is no option like minus y present in the rm command, so we cannot use minus y2 for the deleting process. Which type of file made by touch? It is a simple file which is made by touch command. Any doubts, guys? Please, we are present for the doubt session. We will close the live session at 5:55. So if you have any further doubts, you can ask on your respective WhatsApp group, on the Telegram group. We will be active over there. Guys, could you share the schedule for the bootcamp? So, okay, for the schedule, let me share something with you. The schedule for the bootcamp will be like this thing. From Monday, we will be having this tech talk. and or quiz night. On quiz night, we will test your knowledge, and you will be also provided a chance to win the goodies. For Tuesday to Friday, we have lecture scheduled, and on Saturday and Sunday, we have project arena where we will be teaching you some of the concepts, and with the help of those concepts you will be working on various projects which you can also add to your resume. And for the attendance part, we will be sharing you a link on your WhatsApp group where you can type the review of the today's session, and your attendance will be considered based on the review that you have provided. It can be a positive feedback or negative feedback, it does not matter, but we you should provide a feedback, that's all we want. And there will be some of the projects and research work will be given to you, and the timing of 1 week will be given to you. So you have to answer the question in the form which we will be providing to you. How many days conduct for this event? This is a 2-month event in which we will be covering 6+ skill sets. Within how much a month we will cover this? For the Linux, we will cover up to 30th of this November. Linux will be covered by 30th of November. Next tech talk will be on what technology you will get to learn very soon. Yes, you will also get to learn Docker. I am not attending the session with the registered email ID. No, this is not a problem about the registered email ID. We will give you a task and you have to comment on LinkedIn. From there, your attendance will be monitored. Can you share the timing? The timing for Linux session will be 5 to 6 p.m. in the evening. What is Docker? You will get to know about the Docker concept when we start with the Docker concept. All the technologies learned in parallel? No, all the technologies will not be learned in the parallel. We have dedicated sessions for the learning. So the further session will be conducted on the YouTube channel. So it is a request for you to subscribe us. The event is powered by Incubate IND, and we also have various of the college partners and the community partners. So the college partners for the NEEV event is MIT and DY Patil, and the community partners are CU Coders, MTC, Etnica, and Interno. Thank you for joining us with the NEEV, and for further improvements and feedbacks, please do comment on the LinkedIn, which will be shared in your respective groups. Also, I wish to thank you for joining us in the session, and please join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. and the session will continue till 6 p.m. The link for the the link for the LinkedIn will be shared in your respective WhatsApp group. And if you are not a part of any of the WhatsApp group, please do get yourself registered on neev.questionmark.com. Thank you.